Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Qumulex Radio. I am Josh. This is Aaron. And as always, very happy to be here. Today is Thursday, believe it or not. These weeks just fly by, although I guess it was a short week, right? I was going to say it feels like a short week. It actually was
Yeah.
a short week. But for many of us, we're actually going to be flying over the weekend to GSX in Dallas, which I'm always excited. So just wanted to maybe talk a little bit today about what we hope to experience, what we're excited for at GSX. So Aaron, I'll never let you talk enough. Aaron, why don't you start us off with what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, sure thing. There's some, it's kind of funny. I was doing some investigation earlier in the week to kind of, just see what I could dig up on LinkedIn, what I could gather out of the GSX page. And I will say that, it's kind of difficult to, gather enthusiasm or, who specifically I want to see because it's like, there's this whole cloak and dagger marketing campaign style that I often see leading up to these shows where, you know, there's not an awareness of new products or offering that instead they're showing chances to win vacations, attend a demo in our booth. So I did dig a little deeper. I will say that there are some topics I'm very interested in seeing. So part of that is an emerging technology in our security industry. So we're starting to hear a lot more about threat ops, and this is something that I find interesting. I love to just go into the booths and kind of hear how they're positioning this because they're trying to take this service that's been in the MSP world for quite some time, and they're trying to add that value to the traditional security integrator. And just like our transition from on-prem to cloud, we experienced some difficulty with that, and I feel like they're going through the same transition. But for those of you that don't know, threat ops is where it's a service where a piece of software is typically installed on a client machine, and it will examine what this machine's doing. It feeds back any potential vulnerabilities, out-of-date softwares, and specifically it's looking for anomalies that would potentially lead to a cyber attack or
Like a brute
signal
force attack.
Yeah, exactly, or signal when something is in progress, where something's
Right.
out of the norm. And once these are detected, this software is typically used to shut the machine down and or suspend privileges for that user.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great value add. But it's been around for a long time, but it's just emerging in our industry. So that's one
Yeah.
big thing I'm looking forward to. And then obviously what's happening with Ukraine and drones, where these things are not only used for surveillance, but they're weaponized now. I love to see where we're heading with drone technology. So that's
Yeah.
another subject I'm very interested in. And then just kind of going through some of the larger booths to kind of see what's new. And that's the little gripe I made initially is it's really hard leading up to GSX to see what people are doing that's brand new. And hey, I know we're guilty of that too. When we released our all-in-one PoE solution, that was rather hush until the show. So
Yeah, I
interesting
think
take.
that's definitely a big thing. And I think that's something I always look forward to is, there's always sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes there's kind of a build up, for new products or um, new capabilities that are being launched at the show. Obviously, that's a great time to launch something new, and I think we've been guilty of doing that almost every single year that we've been around. We have something really exciting, and we sort of build that up for the show, either this one
Right.
or ISC, specifically these two, and yeah, I mean it's kind of fun, but also yeah, sometimes it makes it challenging to understand which thing you want to see the most. But that's how we do it in marketing. That's our job is to get you to be curious and come and see. But I love the robots. You're talking about drones. I love the robotic technology. Well, first of all, I think GSX, there's almost always is it GSX or ISC? There's always like a McLaren sitting on the floor. I love cars. So I love to see, it's usually like a cool sports car that I would love to be able to own. But also there's always the robots,
Right.
and I just love robotic technology. I love thinking about what we're going to do down the road, with AI, with robotics, and the industry and us specifically. I mean, I think that's all very exciting, and I like to see the evolution of that, and that's a lot of fun. Um, But I would say from my perspective, I mean, we've all been going to these shows for so long. I think sometimes we take it for granted, but during COVID, we had in 20, there were no shows. And then in 21, the shows were, very reduced in size, both exhibitors and attendees. And then I feel like, last year, in 22, I thought ISC and GSX were both very well attended, which not just from like a booth perspective. Obviously, we're a vendor, we have a booth, we want there to be traffic. Of course, everybody would want that, but just makes it more fun. I mean, you see a lot of people that or you see a lot of people that from LinkedIn or interacting with email or talking on video chats like this. And it's awesome to see people in person. And, I think I realized over the initial part of the pandemic that I missed that. And I think it's a lot of fun. You end up going out to eat with people and spending time with people out in the corridors and around the show. And I mean, I think that's what makes this job fun more than anything. It's just
Absolutely
the amount of people that we get to know and interact with. And, I feel like we get to make a lot of friends. We're always told it's a small industry, a small village, but when these shows are full and you see just how many people there are out there that we get to interact with over the years, I mean, it doesn't feel small to me.
Right, absolutely. And it's funny. It was a conversation you and I had a little while back where we were talking about, just different companies that we work for and kind of like how your circle of networking and, your friendships and all that, they expand with every new job you take and what have you. And it's like a compounding factor. And you're absolutely right. At one point I considered myself, fairly new to the industry. I still do in many ways. But, as far as, the social circle, there's always, somebody that you're catching up with out, when you're out of town at these shows and stuff. But you did describe something, what I would call like a very vendor specific, mindset, because as vendors, we're kind of trapped on the expo floor and, that's there's so much that GSX has to offer, like in terms of seminars and classes and what have you, that we don't necessarily get to be part of. But that's another interesting thing. So yeah, I would say, as far as our perspective on what we want to see at the show, it does tend to be very expo centric, but there's still a lot that the show has to offer that, we as vendors.
I mean, ISC is the big show. No doubt. That's the big show, and definitely a larger international presence at that show. And but GSX, I mean, as is, of course, they have some great certifications and education.
Right.
There's a lot of the same crowd, but I think there's also a little bit of a different crowd at a GSX show. And I find that a lot of the attendees are super knowledgeable and very involved at different levels of, design and engineering to installation, as well as, of course, all of the manufacturers like us that are walking around. It just feels like you're just anybody you talk to is just really plugged in and very knowledgeable. I just think, it's busy most years, not as busy as ISC, but in a way that you actually get to have conversations with people and get a little more, just get to know people a little bit better and have more discussions. So yeah, I think both shows are really great. I think GSX is just, I think it's just different in a good way. And I will say, Vegas isn't the worst place in the world to have to go every year, but I do think it's kind of cool how GSX moves around. Probably a small thing. Sure. People probably rolling their eyes at me, but I think it's kind of cool. Did Orlando, and then last year was Atlanta, and now we're going to Dallas, which makes me excited because I do believe Texas has both In-N-Out and Whataburger. And if you can tell by my physique, even though I am in such great shape, I do love In-N-Out and Whataburger. So we will have to do the challenge. I did that at the Access Partner Conference last year in Arizona, where I had both in the same day and 3 more days, and I still couldn't pick a winner.
Yeah, it's tough.
I love them both too much. So the diet starts after the show.
That's right. That's right.
Not during. So I think there's plenty to be excited about. Obviously, we'd love you to come see us. I mean, hopefully anybody watching this, hopefully you're coming to the show. I will plug our booth. I think Tom and the team puts together a really awesome booth every year. Booth number 2225 is Qumulex. And again, that's the show in Dallas this year. Very excited for it. Very excited to see everyone. Very excited for some delicious Whataburger and In-N-Out. And all the things that Texas has to offer. I lived in Texas for a year, a long time ago, but man, I love that place. So it'd be really cool to go back. So any parting thoughts before we head out? Anything else you wanted to add?
Bring your shorts. I'm looking at the weather forecast. We're looking at, triple digit heat.
Toasty. I did hear a rumor we'll have air conditioning inside.
Oh, that's excellent.
So that should work out well. And sorry, my cat is stretching back there. So he's making a cameo today. Yeah, he's working the audio. He does the editing. No, great. So again, booth 2225. If by chance you're not coming to the show, we're going to probably take next week off, Qumulex Radio, so we can focus on the show and give all our attention to everybody we can see there in person. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. So until then, thanks so much for watching.
See you.
Bye.